Hey, Phil here with another food testing video, and we're going to try out something fun here. This is Tangy Zangy. Soft and chewy tender thingies. Sour blue raspberry squares. Candy. Natural flavors, it says here. It's one of many candies that I got as part of that birthday gift bucket thing. Thanks again for that. So we're going to try it out. It's blue flavored. Sour blue. Imported by Morris National, Incorporated, Montreal, made in USA. Interesting. It says here it's gluten-free and vegan. Vegan candy. Well, that's not really a glowing endorsement in my opinion. I look at the toothpaste and that also is marked vegan, and I'm like, oh, okay, I guess technically that's true. But of course, years ago, I reviewed a type of cheese, an artificial cheese product. I reviewed like this cheese sauce, and I was thoroughly disappointed with it because like you cannot possibly tolerate this at room temperature. You gotta have it melted because otherwise no, undesirable. So I'm gonna just try this out. Uh-oh. Maybe I could set up my camera so it's okay. That's a good angle. Because you see, I'm such a professional here. I'm just so unprofessional, and yeah, that's life. If I can get this package open, maybe I can actually try out candy. But until then, I've had this. There's been this thought that's been on my mind for a while. You ever heard that story, Anne of Green Gables? Well, as a Canadian, I had no shortage of exposure to it. They made an animated series. They made it adapted to movies more than once, I'm sure. The story. And I saw the play. It was alright. Oh, man. How do I get this open? Here we are. But I have some thoughts on that particular story. Oh my. Funny sort of thing. It's all just sort of crammed together. That's a funny sort of smell. Not what I would associate with candy. This is peculiar. Oh, it's all stuck together. Comes in little rigid sort of squares that are sort of an off shade of green. Vaguely translucent in color. Covered in sugar. Let's try one out. Okay. Sour blue raspberry squares. Okay. I think I was expecting something a little more gummy, you know? Like what candy is, but it does say it's sour on the package, so I suppose in all fairness that is correct. It's correct. And it's good. Though I suppose I have been leaving this for a while. I really should have gotten to this sooner. There's always a chance some of this got like heat damaged and melted a little bit. Sometimes I worry about leaving food out in the sunlight, and that could be a risk. I'm going to try this big wad of the stuff now. It's good. I like it. It's good. Got a big wad in my mouth. So do not eat with your mouth. Do not talk with your mouth full. Okay. Tastes good. I think they didn't overdo it with all the sugariness and all the sugar coating of this gummy sort of food, but it's just the squares are surprisingly thin. They're just little pieces, even by the standards of candy. It's all right. I like it. Good flavor. Just a mild sourness to it. It's a good, but when you eat a whole wad of it, it's a good gummy sort of candy. Very nice. Very much appreciated. As I was saying about that story, Anna Green Gables, I don't know why, but it's been on my mind recently, and I had a few thoughts about the story. I saw the play in theaters, and I felt that was I think that just sort of summarized the whole thing really well. I think it got the whole story down and not making it into an animated series that just dragged things out for a long time. I saw that on TV. Okay. Well, at least it's not too bad, the cartoon shenanigans. But my thoughts on the story. It does take place on Prince Edward Island in Canada. Ye old Canada, I should say, because, it's that old timey sort of thing. They got, that look. An elderly couple, or rather siblings, Matthew and Marilla Cuthbert. They're getting old. And they're like, we're too old to work this farm. If only there was a young person. I'm like, I know, let's adopt a kid. And of course, Anne Shirley, this young ginger-haired little girl, she's adopted from the adoption center or whatever. The old man's thinking like, oh, wait a minute. Oh, this doesn't match the paperwork. Are you sure about this? Uh-oh. But within... Are you sure this wasn't supposed to be a boy and not a girl? Oh, okay. Within a few minutes, he likes her because she just has that personality where she's all friendly. Like, that's what I really gather from the play. And he's like, oh, I can't bring myself to break the heart of this little girl. I can't disappoint her. I can't say no to her. But what will Marilla think? Oh dear, I gotta go back. They have the long horse-drawn carriage ride back home. Needless to say, the old lady is pissed. And she's like, how could you do this? You were supposed to bring back a boy, not a little girl. And like, but I don't have the heart in me to say no. Like this thing. Well, look what you've done, Matthew. Look what you've done. She starts nagging. No. Your inability to say no to a lady has gotten you into trouble yet again. Well, that's why I married you. No, you're not married. Read the script. We're supposed to be siblings, not a married couple. Like, oh, you should start acting like one. You certainly are acting like it. Now, of course, as I said before, this story takes place in ye old Canada, the olden times. And they had, sexist notions where they're saying women are the fairer sex. They can't be expected to do all this work and such, and which is why Marilla's all pissed off that they now have a daughter rather than a son. Now, all the sexism and issues aside, really, what was your plan here? The old pair, the couple, they wanted a son not because they really want a child, but they want unpaid labor for their farm. You want unpaid labor for your farm. Just give the young man, the little boy, his food and his shelter over his head, and just expect him to get to work. You were trying to buy a slave, weren't you? This is That's the gripe I have with this story. When you really think about it, they didn't want children, they just wanted unpaid workers. That is disgusting and deplorable of them. And also, I got to thinking, that's probably why you'll never see a particular adaptation of this story. You know the trend I'm talking about? Where Hollywood keeps replacing all the red haired characters with black people? They're not going to try this one, I don't think. They're not going to touch Anne of Green Gables because now they have to acknowledge the fact that the old couple were trying to go to market and buy a slave. And now they'll have to admit to the fact that they just wanted to pick up a black slave to work their farms. Oh, oh my God, this is disgusting. It's deplorable. And to my knowledge, Canada, the whole reason Canada was so, well, what they taught me in history class at school is that it wasn't enough for escaped slaves to escape the southern states of the United States. It wasn't enough to just cross over to the northern states. They had to actually cross the border into Canada. It was officially declared illegal to own slaves. Because this is, crossing the border into Canada, this is what I was taught in history class. They had to do it because that's the only surefire way to guarantee the law and freedom. Because simply going to the northern states just wasn't good enough. You go up to like Maine or Delaware and such, and that's not good enough. The law could still come down on the so-called escaped slaves and say, technically, legally, you're still considered property. You have to come with us. And they lock them up and put them in chains. Grim stuff like that you see in history. And, there was this whole story, this novel they taught us in history class at school about the people who became enslaved. When they first were in Africa, they were lured in with this promise of something they'd never seen before, red fabric, like something they didn't quite have the ability to produce. Some of them didn't have the ability to manufacture that particular product, and they just leave the red fabric on the ground. Look at this shiny thing that you can't have and you can't make. Wouldn't you like some more of it? Just come here a little bit, closer here. Like, okay. And here come the chains. Welcome aboard. On to the boat now. Like, what are you doing? It's called property, people. Don't you understand what's going on here? Now get to work. You've got cotton to pick. And the guy's like, oh, this sucks. Certainly it does. I shouldn't be joking around about that, but yeah. Slavery. Terrible. Awful. And then the novel was explaining the story of an escaped slave from their perspective. The Underground Railroad and such. How they, tried sneaking the slaves out of captivity, out of the southern Confederate states where they would be, treated as property and such. It's not enough to go to the northern states. You have to go right into Canada. And then at the last minute, this one lady, she wants, she's looking for freedom and such, but then she's like, oh no, more red fabric. I heard the legends about that. They start looking at Canada's flag with has red and such, and like, oh, this is how they tricked us the first time. I don't know about this. Like, no. You have to come with us. Come on. Canada is the land of freedom. Canada is the land of peace and prosperity and such. We have to go there. This time, the flag of Canada means peace and everything. You have to come on, onto the boat. We're gonna cross the Great Lakes, and then they'll be free. I'm like, okay. And they do, and then they're free, because I guess the story has a happy ending. Okay, these are the things they taught me in school. I'm just saying. That's all I'm saying. And yeah. And that's why the story of Anne Gables really bugs me, even ignoring the issues of sexism and such for the time. They do straight up admit that their intentions were to have unpaid labor on their farm. You weren't looking to adopt a child. You just want an employee. Not cool. I bet I look like Humpty Dumpty from this particular angle. I got my bald head on and whatnot. Love this candy, though. It's pretty cool. It's just a thought that I had a few days ago. It's been on my mind. You know the old trend that Hollywood has where they replace the red-haired actors, gingers. Jimmy Olsen, the supporting character on Superman. Young red-haired kid. Got freckles. Works as a photographer at the Daily Planet. And in the film adaptations, he was replaced with a black guy. Okay. Fair enough. Nothing to worry about. No big deal. But the thing is, this keeps happening all the time. Like, dozens and dozens of times. It was that story, Little Orphan Annie. It was also about a red-haired little girl who was an orphan. That also got remade and replaced with black people. Okay, but and well, there was another example. Mary Jane, you know, the love interest of Spider-Man, happened again, replaced. Like, I've seen on the internet, there's this whole list of characters getting replaced, and people are saying, "Do you like have an issue, Hollywood? Do you have some sort of complex about this? What are you doing?" And sometimes in the comments section, there'll be people defending this choice. It's saying, "No more reds for you." They type in their comments. Like, we are simply replacing what was a mistake. The redhead kid's like, "Why are you calling me a mistake?" I'm like, "Don't you remember the episode of South Park? Gingers don't have souls." Like, you're being mean. All these shenanigans. Well, Phil, if you don't want anyone listening in on your conversation, why are you posting on it online? Good candy. Love this candy. But it's just something I had to get off my chest. Ye old Canada, I call it. You know, the pioneer age. Something a little older than colonialism. No, it's further down the timeline. It's a bit too late to be calling it colonialism, the colonial age, but it's, I don't know, not exactly pioneer days. I remember they would take us to the pioneer village for a school field trip. That was fun. They'd show us all these wooden houses and all the wooden fences and buildings built up all old-timey style. I'm like, it's okay. And much to my disappointment, this is not the Wild West, of course. This is Canada. So, in spite of all the aesthetics that are on display, there is not going to be any Wild West gunfights and cowboys. They're come walking in awkwardly with their bow-leggedness, with their big iron on their hips, their guns, and they're like, "This town ain't big enough for the both of us." Well, jolly. Well, tarnation, we were going to save that cow for a barbecue. What are you doing with it? I'm rustling your cow. I'm a rotten, rootin' tootin' bad cowboy. You know it because I'm the one wearing a big black hat and a bandana. Next we'll rob the train. Ha ha ha. The great train robbery. Because this is the Wild West and we shoot each other first to solve our problems. And needless to say, none of that happened on the field trip because that would be actually interesting. Not just, hey, let's go to the blacksmith and see what he's making. Let's go to the tinsmith and see what he's making. Like, okay. Rusty old metal here, rusty old metal over there. Okay. Interesting. Here's a pie tin. Oh, goody. This is where we keep all our preserves for the winter.
Why don't you just use a fridge? I'm like, those weren't invented yet. We had to use all sorts of preservatives to make things all blah, blah, blah. And this is a schoolhouse. The school headmaster had the permission to beat the children when they misbehaved. Like, how is it that you don't have school shootings in ye old times? Like, I get it that guns are not exactly the easiest thing to get your hands on in the old timey old west, but like, you'd think if ever there was a motivation, like you're pushing the kids too far. You're beating them. You're assaulting them. Wouldn't they push back? I wonder. Just a thought. That thought occurred to me while I was on the field trip. I'm like, well, not to get too heavy subject, but yeah. How are you going to survive a school shooting when school is only as big as one building, one room? You can't hide anywhere in there. And the headmaster's like, I'd like to apologize for trying to hit you there. Like, it's too late to apologize. It's too late. Pew. He gets his old shooter. His well, it's a 6 barrel, 6 bullets in his revolver because this is the Wild West. You have to remember. He's like, well, that's why they're gonna call me Billy the Kid. I may be a crook and I may be young, but I'm so cool. Pew, pew, pew. And he's like, this begins my life of crime. Do, 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 do. And then the sheriff's like, I don't think so. This town ain't big enough for the both of us. And the cowboys have a shootout in the Wild West. I wasn't really that into westerns now that I think about it. I mean, I mostly just sort of absorbed through a cultural osmosis the sort of genre cliches and such from other cartoons. Sometimes cartoons would reference the Wild West rather than actually seeing the source material itself. Because, Western films, they have all their tropes. The rootin' tootin' cowboy, the sheriff who keeps law and order in town, the mean old bandito, that sneaky guy with the top hat who ties women up and puts them on railways, waiting for the rail to smush them. There's the unscrupulous snake oil salesman. He's like, this'll cure you. He's like, this is water. No, it's special water, I tell you. Special waters all the way from Parakeet Land. Parakeet Land? What's that?
Well, I wouldn't expect an uneducated person like you to know about that, so drink up. That'll be $50, please.
Okay.
And, not politically correct to refer to them as Indians, but, cowboys and Indians. You know what's going to happen there? Fighting.
Well, tarnation. We were saving that cow for a barbecue. What are you doing? That is no way to treat the sacred cow.
Director here, I think you have the wrong kind of Indians for this role. No. Let's just roll with it.
Okay.
God, you should be praised. We've been given a sacred cow. He begins petting it. I will save you from the beef, man. Yes, I will. Cowboy don't like that one bit. Now, listen here, you. I reckon it's high time we bring that cow up to the slaughterhouse for a barbecue. It's got premium steak written all over it.
I think not. This cow belongs on a safe photo farm. A safe farm. Free from any distractions and disappointments and whatnot. I'm like, dang it. Dang it, that boy ain't right. Says the cowboy. Damn, I'm rambling something fierce. And I'm being a bit offensive, but I'm not trying to tease anyone. Now that I think about it, Indian in the Cupboard, that was also a movie based on a book, which I suppose it was praised critically. I never got around to reading it. I listened to it on audiobook. I'm like, okay, I kind of get it. It's about being respectful to others, and almost like almost in a way, I would describe it like a kid friendly sentiment of the same things Lovecraft was getting at. Like it's it's like some sort of magic and supernatural stuff we weren't really meant to understand and weren't meant to interact with. And the more involved you get with it, the worse you are. It's going to cause trouble for you. Because the kid, Armory, he's like, oh, what's the point of all this? I was looking to just, play with a toy, but now the toy wants to make up its own rules and live like its own self. And it's not really a toy, it's a real person. And I have to treat you with respect. And sure, I would like to do that, but it's not practical for you to live here with me. Like, I can't protect you and take care of you all the time. I'm just a kid, and I mess up as like anything. This is just too much responsibility to put on a child. And, Little Bear, the character, who's, written out as a stereotypical character in the source material, but, given a bit more dignity in the film adaptation, I feel. He's like, you're not a very good magician. You may be a giant, but you're not very wise. You're not very good at your sorcery. I'd just like to go back home. I'm like, okay. And that's the safe thing to do, because, it's the magic spell they don't really understand. And then my friend, I used to have this. I used to have this friend a long time ago when I was a little kid. He actually read the whole story, whereas I just watched the film adaptation. And the two of us had quite a disagreement on the subject. And I'm thinking, oh boy, wouldn't that be just so cool? Imagine if you could have magic powers and you could bring your toys to life and you could have all sorts of adventures in real life. Wouldn't that be cool? And he's like, no, you should be ashamed of yourself for thinking such things, Phil. Those are real people and they deserve real respect. In fact, I think all you children out there should be ashamed of yourself every time you want to play with a toy. Like, you should know better. And the kids are like, what? What? We're just doing what we're supposed to do. And he's like, nope, you're being disrespectful. And such. Well, okay, it's not necessarily Cowboys and Indians I want to play. Sometimes I want to play other games, like, war games, like with plastic toy soldiers. I got plenty of those. And you're making the situation even worse. That's armed conflict with gunpowder weapons. Can you imagine all the violence and slaughter? Aren't you ashamed of yourself? Well, dare I even suggest the action figures I want to play with? No, no, no. What? Do you want peace toys? Do you want something a lot more softer and safer and such? What if I try it on a teddy bear? It only works on plastic. Okay. Well, what if I try this plastic action figure? That's objectifying people. You should be ashamed of yourself. Jeez, you guys, I just wanted to play with toys. Why is everyone so angry with me? And he's like, you should read this book. You should learn to be more respectful of others. And I'm like, well, I did pick up on those themes from the movie. Yes, I did. But it still seemed like a fun idea. It's like, it's sort of like Toy Story, except this time the toys do come alive when you are around. And they can, make up their own minds and their own adventures as they choose. And, Small Soldiers, that was also a good film. That was also about toys kind of coming to life in a way. But it was with computers and artificial intelligence, not magic. Yeah. Fun and games. I think this video has gone on for long enough.